AB 1881, the California Indian Freedom Act of 2026, it seeks to ensure that California Indians can freely practice their religions and spiritual traditions on state public lands. During this bill to getting here today, we took several amendments. We took out local cities and counties for a League of Cities. We worked with the Building Industry Association and came to agreement and made amendments to the bill, which we continue to honor those commitments to the BIA. California is home to the largest population of Native Americans in the United States, each with its own distinct culture, religion that has predated statehood. That's important to highlight because we cannot put Pan-Americanism into the tribal culture and say that one culture fits it all. Each different culture and tribal identity shares its own creation, shares its own stories. So each one is totally different. Yet for centuries, there has been a long-standing policy in this country and in this state that has allowed for the suppression of tribal spirituality, cultural expressions, in an effort to assimilate tribal people in the United States and in the state of California. That was evident by the first governor putting out bounties on California Indian people that was paid for by state taxpayers' dollars. And we've seen that movement of assimilation move forward with slogans like "Kill the Indian and Save the Man," where boarding schools were erected. And in fact, California was home to 13 federal Indian boarding schools that abducted Native American children from their families, punished them for speaking their language, and prohibited their spiritual practices. These boarding schools resulted in generational trauma that still continues today. Unfortunately, the legacy of Indian assimilation and cultural suppression still shapes present-day policy. It shapes it in the forms of distrust from agencies and those that think that somehow California Indian people are trying to get back everything that was once theirs. We have to look beyond that in 2026. The governor moved forward with a state apology to California Indian people. It's time that the state legislature also moves forward and starts to correct those things of the past that has separated cultural items and lands from this state's first people. And we continue to look to the ability to conduct customs and traditions on tribal lands within their own traditional areas that were taken from them in history through force, assimilation. What this bill does, it now stands in 2026 to allow California's first people to assemble on California state public property for customs and traditions. And again, I made several amendments that narrowed it down to state public lands. Tribal members are routinely questioned or harassed for wearing regalia or carrying ceremonial items in public places. Native students and their families still face obstacles or prohibitions on wearing regalia at graduation ceremonies, despite state and federal law that gives them that opportunity. We continue to look for the voice to be heard here in the state of California. AB 1881 aims to afford Native Americans the same level of protection for their faith as we do for other religions in this country. In the state of California, we continue to move forward with that voice, a voice that was drowned out in policies that we're up against, a voice that continues to want to be at the table, a voice that continues to say we have the right to assemble and practice our customs and traditions in a state whose ancestral lands are traditional lands of Indian people. The bill ensures that state agencies allow access to sacred sites on state lands and permit gathering of traditional plants, foods, and other materials essential to tribal cultural practices. The bill further protects the handling of sacred items and regalia at state grounds, including here at the state capitol. My office has worked tirelessly with the opposition to address concerns since we moved forward on the bill that I alluded to that we took, worked with the Building Industry Association, took out cities and counties for League of Cities. We continue to do more, and we're continuing to open up that dialogue to work on issues that can bring us together. Opposition to California's First Peoples' rights to conduct ceremonies on lands that were stripped from them is something that should be afforded here in the state of California in the year 2026. I want to be clear, Mr. Chair and members, in 2026, I have to write a law to give the rightful people of this land the right to assemble and practice their customs and traditions in the state of California. This bill, AB 1881, moves us forward to ensuring that California's First People and their rights are respected in this day and age. I ask that we stand united with California's First People and move forward by supporting their ability to practice customs and traditions on their traditional lands here in the state of California.